Shift Up has actually listened and fixed Riven. She is now a great DPS. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Riven, if it's worth investing on her or not now after the fix, and where she is compared to the other Iron DPSs. As usual, before we start, hello the internet, welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict without the beard now. I know it looks weird. It will grow soon, hopefully, because I don't like how I look without the beard. That's what it is. And before we start, leave a like, subscribe, comment to the channel, and let's talk a little bit about, maybe call it the first impressions 2.0. I don't know what to call this, honestly, right? Maybe like a she's fixed or the listens or whatever it is. But let's talk the post-patch Riven, where she's at right now. Now, first of all, this patch was mostly a balancing patch for the minigame, not for Riven. The only thing they touched outside of the minigame was skill 1 for Riven, right? Which was what we were complaining about. Now, for some reference as to what have we been testing on. Tarsis account. Tarsis, thank you for the invitation. Love you also. So, multiple things on his Iron characters. Really good investment. Rapid, 87% elemental, 19 attack. Eve, 92 elemental, 45 attack. And then, of course, only 11 critical. Look at this guy. And then Red Hood, 95% elemental, 9% attack. So really good investment into his Iron characters. And I believe this is Riven as well, yes. 81 elemental and 24 attack. So once again, really good investment overall on all of his Iron characters. We've been testing on two different situations, right? First, Union Range basic beach test. And then on Ultra as well, to see how she's faring after this versus Red Hood. When it comes to the dolls, as you can see, everyone has an SR15 doll, but Riven has an SR10 doll instead of 15. And even there, only one copy, less investment on the doll, less investment on the skills because she's 10.99. She is already probably the second, depending on the situation, the second, third best Iron DPS in the game. Let's get the elephant out of the room first. I think that's the fastest one probably. Ultra, yes, Red Hood is still better, but it's also important to understand that this is a Red Hood that is core 2, that has really good investment on elemental, a 90-something% elemental, right? Versus a Riven, one copy Riven versus core 2 Red Hood, and it's still a 1.9 versus 1.3. You guys remember from the previous week, this is 1,000 times better. You can't use her on bosses with parts, and her damage is actually going to be pretty good. Again, in contrast to last week, where she was lacking on both Ultra and Union Range. She was like not worth really your time, right? Right now, it's 100%. You should be pulling for one copy, in my opinion. That's only on Ultra, and again, the difference is not that big considering the difference in investment as well. Now, what about Union Range? What about, putting an Electro boss and going to check the different characters we have? There it gets a little bit more interesting. And actually, right off the bat, on a normal team with Helm, Crown, Siren, she is better than Eve. And again, Eve is hitting crits constantly on this team. It's like 100% crit uptime because she has like 75 on her own, then she has another 11 here and another 16 or 14 that Helm is providing. So she is close to 100, if not 100 already. I believe it's 75 by default. You guys do the math, I'm pretty sure she should be 100. So as you can see, Eve 4.5, Riven 5. And this is on a team that benefits Eve more than Riven, but of course, Crown Helm is like the standard team that will be OP no matter what you put. So, and moving to the next one on the same team with Rapid Red Hood, which is 1,000 times better than the previous week, because on the previous week, remember that she was getting nowhere close to Rapid Red Hood. And this is a Rapid Red Hood that is also MLB and has really good lines, 6.2 versus 4.5. If you have an MLB Riven, she's going to be a lot closer to that Rapid Red Hood. That's what I said earlier, that this is probably, depending on the situation, second, if not third best DPS on Iron. Again, if there is a lot of parts, Red Hood will almost always be better at high investment. Red Hood is stupid for these bosses rather than Riven, but still this is a fantastic patch, and actually she's proccing her skill 1 properly now. She's applying her dot damage, her sustain on a skill 1 finally properly. There is still a bug on her animation while she's shooting. You might not be able to see this here. If you put her on auto, she will go one frame into reload and then go back to shoot. It's like really weird. I don't know if they will fix that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think they will fix that, but it is what it is. Shift up shenanigans. That's it, let's keep going with some of these teams. As you can see, then we were testing some B1s to see the difference. And with Miranda, Crown, Ludmilla and Helm, just to see like a single DPS team, aka Riven, she's doing 4.9 But if we switch to Litter instead, she's doing 6 build with Litter, and of course using Helm Aquamarine instead. Helm Aquamarine is really good for electric content or for item weak content, because she's going to be providing the damage taken, and it's like a double cooldown reduction. Funnily enough, even if you run Litter and Helm Aquamarine, your CDR is still worse than if you just run Siren or Rapid Red Hood. That's how broken those two characters are as a verse 1. But still, this is one of the best teams we found for her. 6 build damage. Again, this is just like a single DPS team. You could be running instead of these 2 DPSs, right? Riven, Rapid Red Hood. I just put in Helm Aquamarine and removing normal Helm. This is still better and higher damage, but you will be losing the heals. I personally like having heals on the team. You could just remove also Helm Aquamarine and put your normal Helm like we were doing earlier here, and this is gonna be pretty similar, 6.2 versus 4.5, and with Helm Aquamarine 4.4 versus 5.4. But for rates, it depends how many characters you have invested and what you're running on your main teams. And then I was checking Little Mermaid instead of Litter, but you do more damage with Litter because it's just more buffs overall. But the damage was higher just because Little Mermaid is doing 1.5 on its own on off element, right? Because it's a balanced B1. There is a couple issues with the Riven though that I want to talk about as well. One of them is the animation book. Like I said earlier, she's getting booked like for 1 millisecond. She goes into reloading and gets this weird and gets 1 frame where she goes to reload, then goes back. I'm not sure if this is affecting her damage. I don't think so, but still, I hope they fix it. Second thing is skills, because right now Tarsis went to level 9 on skill 2. But there is not really a reason to go past level 4, in my opinion. This is just damage to parts. And let's be honest, it's not that important. Like, it's not that important. Depends on the boss and the content, but even on neutral, but even on bosses without any sort of parts, she's gonna be performing fantastically. So you could be ignoring this, and even the 45 sustained damage right here, it gets removed when you are bursting and you're getting the 85 instead. So in my opinion, she's gonna be like a 10 for 10 character that you can just complete in your skill 2, which is good because it's a little bit cheaper. The other thing that I'm not sure is charge speed. How much charge speed do you need? She's a really fucking slow character. 1 second charge time, 2 second reload time. I am not sure how much charge speed is gonna affect her. So I need to test and ask people who are running numbers to see, if it's actually worth or not. And then the last thing is for her tier list. So right now, when we talk about like B3s, right? The current meta characters, the reason why they are up there, like the difference between a T0 and a T1 is simply how do they perform overall on neutral content outside of raids. Are you using these characters outside of raids? Some of them you are, only for bosses, right? Let's say your Sameranis, let's say your Aim, even though not anymore that much, right? Your Maiden. But that's like about it. Most of these characters are not used outside raids or specific bosses on hard mode unless you have nothing else. And the problem is that on neutral content, I need to keep testing Riven to see how she performs, because if on neutral she cannot catch up to these characters up here, she is going to be a B1. Clearly stronger than Eve, for example, even though both of them are B1s, but that's like the only thing that I'm not sure. Where she is going to be on the tier list, just because of the neutral content. I'll make a separate video going over the full deal, team compositions, and overall how to build her, but that's going to be either tonight or tomorrow morning, because I want to keep testing on neutral content and off element to see how she's faring against the other girls. And that said though, I'm pretty sure that's everything for this video. Just wanted to go a little bit over what's going on with her, with the updated first impressions on Riven after the fix. God bless Shift Up, doing a good patch. Hey, a good patch, I can't complain, alright? I will talk shit when it needs to be done, but right now, this is a good patch. So, that's gonna be for this one. As usual, we are live every day, boys. If you wanna be coming by, say hello, drop by while we are playing gachas, right? Gooning together. Feel free to do so. Links in the description down below. Good luck with your pool dinner. I'll see you in the next one.